So, you want to take your dog on vacation with you, but just thinking about the airport and the plane ride is already giving you a headache? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. In this explainer, we are going to break it all down, every single step, so you can fly with your dog in the cabin and turn all that stress into pure confidence. And it's totally normal to be worried. You've got airline rules, endless paperwork, trying to find the perfect carrier, and of course, the biggest thing is just making sure your best friend is safe and comfortable. That anxiety is real for both of you. But that's exactly why we're here. We've pulled together all the best tips from people who do this all the time, and we're going to walk you through everything. I promise by the end of this, you'll feel like a pro. Okay, so before you even open a single travel website, there are a few key things you've got to get sorted. Let's call it the pre-flight checklist. Think of these as the 4 pillars of your whole operation. If you nail these 4 things, everything else is going to fall right into place. So let's start with the first big one, actually booking your dog's spot. All right, this is where the planning really kicks into gear. We're about to dive into the world of airline pet policies to make sure your pup has a guaranteed spot on that plane. And here is an amazing little hack that is going to save you so much time. Seriously, instead of clicking around a confusing airline website, just pop this into Google, but swap out airline.com with, Delta's website or United's. It takes you right to the page you need. Game changer. Now, here's a rule that trips a lot of people up. The weight limit? It's not just your dog's weight, it's the total combined weight of your dog plus their carrier. Most airlines set that limit right around 8 kilos or just under 18 pounds. And trust me, they do check. The person who wrote this guide even said their little Westie Sami sometimes has to go on a mini diet before a flight to make weight. So here's a question I hear all the time. Do I have to buy my dog their own seat? And the answer is nope. The pet fee isn't for a seat. It's for their spot on the floor where they'll stay tucked away in their carrier right under the seat in front of you for the whole flight. So what's that little spot on the floor going to cost you? Well, you should plan for anywhere between $60 and $200, and that's per flight each way. So if you have a layover, you might even be paying it twice. It's definitely something to factor into your travel budget. Okay, listen up because the order you do things in here is so important. First, go online and book your own ticket. Then, the second you have your confirmation, pick up the phone and call the airline. Don't wait, don't make a sandwich, call them right away. There's only a very small number of pets allowed in the cabin on any given flight, and you have to call to claim one of those spots before they're all gone. Perfect. Your spot is reserved. Now it's time to get all the official stuff in order. Let's talk paperwork. The documents you're going to need really depend on where you're going. If you're just flying within the country, you'll probably need a simple health certificate from your vet, usually issued within a month of your travel date. But for international trips, you might need a full-on official pet passport. The number one rule is always, always, always check the specific rules for your airline and your destination country. Don't leave it to chance. And here is a huge gotcha that can derail your whole trip if you're not careful. The rabies vaccine is a must, of course, but just getting the shot isn't enough. For that vaccine to be considered valid for travel, there's a mandatory waiting period, usually about 30 days after your dog gets the shot. You absolutely have to build that wait time into your travel plans. Okay, you're booked, your papers are ready to go. Now let's talk about your dog's little home for the flight, the carrier. When you're flying in the cabin, a soft-sided carrier is hands down the way to go. They're way lighter to lug through the airport, and this is the important part, they have some flex. That means you can squish them just a little bit to fit under the seat, which, believe me, can be a really tight squeeze. A hard plastic carrier just doesn't have that give. And that leads us to this fantastic little secret from the pros. Because a soft carrier can bend, you can often buy one that's just a little bigger than the airline's official dimensions. It'll still squish to fit in the required space, but it gives your dog that much more room to stretch out and be comfortable. It's a great little trick. The big day is here. All your prep work is done, but I've got a couple of last-minute, super important tips to make sure the actual travel day goes off without a hitch. Let's talk food and water. To prevent any motion sickness or tummy troubles in the air, it's best to skip a big meal for about 4 to 6 hours before you fly. A few small treats, totally fine. But the most crucial thing is hydration. Pack one of those collapsible water bowls and offer your dog little sips of water whenever you get a chance. Now, what if you have a nervous flyer on your hands? First step is to talk to your vet. They might suggest a natural calming aid, something like CBD oil. But, and I cannot stress this enough, whatever you decide to try, you must test it at home a few days before you travel. You need to see how your dog reacts. The last place you want to discover a bad reaction is at 30,000 feet. Okay, I need you to listen very carefully to this next part. This is, without a doubt, the most important safety rule we're going to cover. Under no circumstances should you ever sedate or tranquilize your dog for a flight. And here's why. The change in air pressure at high altitudes can seriously mess with a sedated animal's breathing and heart rate. It is incredibly dangerous. In fact, pretty much every airline flat out prohibits it because of the risk. Just don't do it. So what's the bottom line here? Look, yes, there are a few hoops to jump through, but it's totally doable. If you just do a little planning and get the right gear, flying with your dog can actually be a really easy, positive experience for both of you. You've got the complete playbook now. You know exactly what to do. So the only question left is the really fun one. Where are you and your furry co-pilot going to go on your first adventure together?